All right, we're here for the first episode of Straight from the Spear. I'm sitting here with Courtney Young.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, I'm good.
Not too bad, not too bad.
Tell them where you're from.
So I'm actually originally from Marysville, Washington.
Long ways away.
Long ways away, about, 2,500 miles. We did that drive 3 days straight.
Drive instead of a plane.
Yep. We had a 2 and a 4-year-old when we moved down here. So
it was determined.
I was determined. I just straight shot it. I said, nope, we got to get back to Mimi and Papa.
And no regrets.
No regrets. Absolutely no regrets. I love it down here. I don't plan to be back in the cold at all.
What were you always doing, fitness, or you went straight into it?
No, actually I did debt collection until I moved down here. That's originally what brought me down to Texas, actually. It was a so-called position that was supposed to be with Title Max. And then I showed up day one and they said, that job's not even a thing. And I guess I, threw Zoom calls with a guy and everything, and I pretty much got scammed my way down to Texas.
You was coming down to collect some money.
Yep.
Somebody owed you.
Well, no, it was more so I worked in debt collection. So I was that person that called you and was like, hey, yo, you owe us some money. Like, I'm going to report to your creditor. You pay me. And I guess, long story short, Title Max was going to open up their own collections department, and they wanted me to be the head of it. And so that brought me down here. I did probably 3 or 4 Zoom calls with a gentleman, and I come down, and it was supposed to be day one of, working there, and I showed up, and they said, oh yeah, no, he's no longer with the company, and you don't know what you're talking about. We don't know what position you're talking about. We don't have a position like that. And I said, okay.
Yeah.
So that same day, I actually got a phone call from Palm Beach Tan, and they needed a manager there. So I was like, you know what? If it puts food on my kids' plates, I'm there. So I was the manager over at Palm Beach Tan for a little while, and then I went over to Crunch, and I was the assistant there. So that's kind of what. Originally when I was back home in Washington, I started my own journey, and I would share it on social media. I was what you call a Beachbody coach. So that was when that was pretty big. It was probably 2018 to 2022 is when I did that.
During COVID,
yep. So I built up a social media following, sharing my journey that way, and just helping mostly women, but a couple men too, but mostly women. Just, I was postpartum. I just needed something to do, and most of the gyms in Washington didn't have childcare, so my only route was to work out at home. And so just when I looked up, workout routines, Beachbody On Demand popped up, and I started doing that. And then just sharing my workouts online. It was just one of those things that people were like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then I had some random lady message me on Instagram, and it was like, hey, I saw that you're doing Beachbody. Like, have you ever thought about Beachbody coaching? And I was like, what is that?
What is that?
What is that? So it kind of jump-started that, and then, I was pretty much doing exactly what I was doing, just sharing my journey and sharing the word of pretty much Beachbody to other people that had that issue that I had, that had kids, couldn't go to the gym, didn't have time, things like that. It was like super quick workouts, didn't really need much equipment. It was just one of those things where it kind of set me in the right path to finish a program, so then that kept me motivated, because it was just every day you knew what to do.
But then that was probably the question that they had. They seen all the actions that you would be doing, but they didn't know where your motivation came from. Where did your motivation come from?
It really came from just, at the time, I had just my daughter, but now it's my daughter and my son. So my kids are my biggest motivation. I grew up, in a not bad lifestyle, but constantly being told that I'm the reason that my mom was overweight. So it was just, that's kind of what drove me. It was my daughter's first birthday, and we got our picture taken, and I looked at my husband, I said, who's that?
Yeah.
That ain't me.
That ain't you.
That ain't me. I was at the start of my journey, I was 186 pounds. So, and I'm 5 foot, so imagine that. So I was like, who's that blueberry?
Blueberry.
That ain't me. That ain't me. And so it kind of was a reality check where I kind of felt like little me was my daughter, and I was like, no way in hell am I gonna make my daughter feel like this was her fault. Like I gotta get my life in track. I gotta be healthy for them. I mean, I had her when I was 20, so.
And so, would you say her feeling like you are her problem would be like your biggest fear?
Yeah, really, I guess that, and just, yeah, it's really probably, yeah. Like now that you say that, it would be probably just not being accepted for who I am. Like always being a problem for somebody. That's kind of, I never want to be a problem for anyone. I want to be the solution.
And also to be able to know you could just be you, and that's
Yeah.
okay to be you.
Exactly.
How long would you say it took you to go from feeling like that to feeling like you?
Ooh, so I lost like most of my weight right before I got pregnant with my son. So my daughter was 2 when I got pregnant. So I would say about a year because I started my journey when my daughter's first birthday. I literally went home.
Yeah.
That was my birthday present.
There we go.
A year was signing up for Beachbody. So I would say probably a year until like I mentally got back into the positive state and came out of my depression and just was like, no, like we're doing this. Like we're strong,
It's
we're
going
capable,
down.
we can do this. And so yeah.
And so when you said you lost most of your weight, how much was that one at that time?
At that time, it was about 70 pounds, and I still had wanted to lose about 15 extra pounds, and then I got pregnant with my son. But I did stay active. Like that really corrected me, and I stayed active throughout my second pregnancy. I didn't give in too much of the cravings like I did with my daughter, but it was one of those things where I knew I was already in routine. So by the time I got pregnant, I was like, we ain't using this as an excuse this time.
No.
Yeah.
No, and that I think a lot of people need to have that in mind. And that 70 pounds, would you say that right there was probably your biggest victory?
Oh yeah, 100. I mean, the 70 pounds, but like altogether, I lost all of it. Technically, I lost 90 pounds, and that was not my goal. I just lost it way too quick, and I couldn't get a hand on it.
Gotcha.
So I just then started having, the other problem of trying to gain some weight back because I made it down to 95 pounds at 24 years old, and I was like, let's not do that. That's too much. So
Yeah, too much too quick.
So I lost a lot of muscle in the midst of it. So that's my biggest goal right now is just building up some more muscle again. So yeah.
And with all of you were a woman on a mission. At the same time, you had your motivation, you had your victories, cutting a lot of weight. You were in the grind at the time, and you know how that works. What would you say your passion is?
I feel like if I were to chop it up, it's just being an inspiration to people, just wanting to show people that it is possible, and just being that, person to hold your hand through it because it's never going to be easy. It's always there's always going to be challenges, and that's kind of what I relied on the Beachbody community for, was to like keep me going. Like we had our 5 a.m. wake up calls. We would all get on Zoom and work out together, and so being here now, it's just one of those things where I just want to make you feel like you are capable of it because everyone's capable of change. It's just rather the thought of actually implementing it and having the support to know that you can do it. So yeah.
And people being capable of change, how do you feel most people look at fitness, or I should say, how do you feel most people look at a healthy lifestyle? What do they consider a healthy lifestyle?
I feel like a lot of people just consider it as far as consistent gym workouts, or consistent workouts, doesn't need to be in the gym, but consistent workouts and eating healthy. A lot of people miss the hormone side of things or the mental health side of things. So I think just relying on nutrition and workouts, that's good, but most of the time it's really hard when your hormones are imbalanced or your sleep and recovery are really bad. Like people don't think sleep is part of having a healthy lifestyle. They're just like, yeah, I hit the gym and I eat really good, but they sleep 3-4 hours a night. They're staying up till 11 midnight,
Night out and early rising.
Yep, exactly. So it's like, and they miss the small things, and I think the small things are what will really make you feel even more accomplished when the goal is hit, because those small things are easy to fall off.
And as far as making you feel more accomplished, sometimes people need help. So what would be a supplement you suggest?
I think my biggest supplement, and I have so many, but I would say something to do with sleep, just because I think that's the number one thing, especially working here now at 5 Star. It's just a lot of people don't sleep.
True story. Yeah, that's me too. So, so I can definitely say that a good reset is important.
Yeah.
Like I know how I am when I finally get a good amount of sleep, which is still not as much as most people. But say that's your 8 hours, which is a real 8 hours. Mine might be 6. I'm
Exactly.
trying to fix it, but
Yep. Yep, and that's a lot of the people that I see. They're like, if I sleep 9 hours, that's too much for me.
Yeah.
Or some people that sleep 7 hours, they're like, that's not enough for me. I'm like, it's different. Every body is different,
That's right.
and it's one of those things that you have to find your groove. If you like, I strive off 6.5 hours on the dot. People think I'm crazy, but if I get 7 hours,
Too much.
oh, I'm tired all day long. I could feel the sleepiness just lingering. If I get 6 hours, I'm dead. Like I have no brain. Like it doesn't work,
So between 6 and 7 hours, that's when
Yep,
the Sandman shows
that's
up.
my sweet spot. But there's some people that strive off 10 hours of sleep, So if you can get 10 hours of sleep, power to you. But that's too much for me.
I think so. What about so you work out at home and in the gym? Having that background of working out during COVID and all of that, you had a chance to hit in different areas. What do you feel is your favorite exercise?
Ooh, I love a good deadlift. I love deadlifting. I'm not like a big power lifter at all, but that was the change that got me into the gym again after coming down here and having childcare available in gyms and stuff. My favorite workouts are probably deadlifts and RDLs. Really anything to be legs. I'm a girl. I feel like legs are my go-to.
Yeah. No, legs are important. Lastly, what would you say? Most of the time, people would say, "Well, do you have any advice for the young person?" I'm not about to do that. What I'm about to do is say, "What was your best advice you've ever given?"
Ooh, I would say just keep going. Like every time I wanted to quit, my coach from Beachbody would always just say, "Courtney, just keep going. It's one more workout."
Yeah.
And so then every day it was just one more workout, just one more meal, just one more sweat it out sesh, So I think once you get started, it's easy to set up the excuses. It's easy to be like, oh no, I had a long day. But constantly, that's what I tell myself in the morning. Like my alarm goes off at 5 a.m. and I just say, it's just one more workout. One more workout, because you never know what's going to happen the next day. You never know what's going to happen that day. So I just tell myself, just one more workout. And is it continuous and is it, kind of repetitive? Because every day you're saying just one more. But that's how I've reframed my headspace to just show up for myself.
And we would be safe to say that that's what's gotten you to where you're at now.
Mm-hmm.
Season, you know how this goes.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think the hardest part is the cold. That's my biggest excuse is I'll be like, oh no, it's 30 degrees outside. I want to be cozy in bed. But I just tell myself 5 more minutes and you'll be warm, like just get started and your body's warm. You'll be warmed up.
That's right. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, y'all heard it here straight from the Spear. Courtney Young. She's been killing the game. She knows what she's doing. She can relate to a lot of y'all women and men out there. The experience that she's had and just a lot of the same things that we use as excuses. I mean, she's pushed through them. We're all guilty of getting in the funk, getting in the routine to where we're not making progress. So, but as you see, it can be done. And we're going to keep moving forward, keep this thing going. So, y'all be good. There we go.
That was good.
See if you remember.